This is incredibly different than my usual cosmic musings doing readings, but I've been really feeling the push from my ancestors, from my guides, to do a talk on the earthly musings of overcoming sexual abuse, which is still extremely rampant in our society, extremely perpetuated. And me being the eldest grandchild in my family, I feel that it's my duty to at least address it, whether anybody takes anything I say and does any action, doesn't matter. It's that I will always stand for myself and anyone else who has gone through similar trauma. Because unfortunately, you deal with it indefinitely, even if you've completely forgiven the perpetrator. So when I was uh, between the ages of 5 and 7, my mom was divorcing from my biological father. He just was fairly abusive, and she figured, well, I mean, it was a no-brainer. She had to get out of that relationship. And in that time, my uncle, who was about 6 years older than me, used the opportunity to start this cycle. And I was told that if I said anything to anyone, that my mom would abandon me, which is very typical blackmail for people that are doing such things. And it made me uh, almost a hyper functioning child. I was extremely perfectionist, and I wanted no attention other than good attention on me, and I did whatever it took to get the positive attention, because I thought if it ever did come out that I need to have so much accolades in order to not burn in hell and have my family abandon me. And thankfully, I had beautiful teachers that supported me. Nobody actually ever picked up that anything was going on wrong or off color, because I mean, I loved school. School completely saved me. And, I remember at least a few times a year, every year, just sitting in class, looking at my peers, wondering who else is going through this. Is there anybody else that has gone through this? And even though the physical abuse stopped, there would be innuendo and things like that that he did throughout the years. And I just feel that you have to confront things, even if it makes everybody incredibly uncomfortable in your family. And when I finally had the courage to come out at the age of 18, the only reason I had the courage to come out was because I had met a woman who had been sexually abused by her father. Now, the thing that is insidious about sexual abuse is that it can be extremely subtle and extremely traumatic and violent and torturous, and it still has the same effect depending on the individual. So people that have had very subtle abuse have hyper trauma, and then people that have experienced, sexual torture, basically, it just depends on the individual how you're going to get through that. And, so many people have overcome it. So many people have post-traumatic stress disorder and have manifested horrible fucking diseases because of it, but they're still managing to deal with that, right? And sometimes when you have the courage enough to come out to a family, like I'm from a was from a large family, and it's very difficult for them to shift out of their paradigm and their way of being. Like, you can't argue generationally how any one is going to deal with these things. And I just want to say that you can experience horrifying things and still lead a beautiful life. I have an amazing husband. I have 4 beautiful children, all of whom I've been incredibly open and honest with about everything. They're decent human beings. They know that sometimes things are bigger than them and they expect me to deal with them. And when I approached one of my sons, he just said, "Mom, you have to deal with this. You deal with things. That's what you do." And it won't get you will not win a popularity contest. You can expect some backlash from your family, and they could very well turn it against you. But if you are true in yourself and stay centered, you know the truth. They can say whatever. What happened, happened. And the thing that floored me was this individual has a goddamn Facebook account. And you can't tell me that he's completely, there's no way in hell he is completely healed of his tendencies, unless he's had a lobotomy and I didn't know about it. So please stand up for yourself if you've been sexually abused. You might lose a good number of the people that you thought loved you. But in honoring and loving yourself, you will create a community around you that will stand up for you no matter what. And that is the most important thing of all. Know that you're loved regardless of anything that's happened and transpired around you. All my love.